This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
Welcome to Let's Talk, a call-in show on the Skeptic Haven channel. Let's Talk is a safe place for atheists, those questioning or leaving religion, and anyone that wants to ask questions and have respectful discussions from the US or Canada or anywhere. Call us at 984-789-4787. And from outside the US, call in from your computer using the URL on the screen down below. I'm Apostacie, also known as Stacy, and this is my good friend Neil, the 604 atheist. So thank you for
Hello.
being with us tonight and everyone who is joining us in the chat and watching later. So thanks for being here.
Yeah. It's always good to have people be a part of the show too, because we can see your comments.
Yes.
So be
Yes.
nice, people. Be nice.
Definitely.
Actually, you said respectful conversation. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here then?
No, you can be respectful. We're good.
I can be. I can be.
You can be. Yeah. I really like that opening, I have to say. That's a good little intro. So.
Yeah. And there was a phone booth. I'm like, whoa, you don't see those much anymore.
No, I saw one recently and I was like, I think I took a picture of it because I was like, when's the last time I saw a phone booth?
I did too. A little payphone in a hospital. I was like, holy crap, they got one of these still? No.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
But in the hospital, I get it. But,
Yeah, that's true. So
it's kind of a weird thing.
it is. So we are here to take calls, to talk to anyone who is, like we said, questioning, leaving religion, atheists, theists. And also the topic for tonight is kind of how to find community after deconverting. It doesn't have to be that specifically if you have something else in mind, but that's sort of, I think, what you and I are pretty good at, especially you. So
Yeah, well, I do a show
you
based
do.
on deconversion and deconstruction, right? So, and I've heard well over 500 stories from people, and
Wow.
there's a lot of things that cause people to start to question and ultimately find the answers. They may not be what they were expecting, but that does lend to them having those little dominoes falling, and then suddenly they're like, holy crap, I'm an atheist, because they no longer believe in it. Right? So
Yep. That's definitely what happened to me. 100%.
And that's only 500 of the millions of us that are out there. So I still got lots of people to interview.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you can keep going for a really long time.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. And one thing that I love about your show, and I say this every time I get the opportunity, is the after parties that you do.
That's where the community bit comes in, right?
Exactly. Can you tell people about that?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, the reason I do it is because I want to build a stronger community, so that there's lots of folks out there that once they find their way free, and they consider themselves to be, agnostic in some cases or atheist all the way, and they don't realize that there's so many out there that have already sort of found each other, so to speak. And I always have a after party so that the interviewees or the guests can meet a lot of not a lot, but a chunk of the community. And it's usually got a lot of repeat hangout people that come to the after parties, like Ollie and Swede, of course. And of course, my co-host, who's always with me, Mikey Famine, right? So
love Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey's great. I mean, I think adding him to the show, which I had been doing it for almost a couple of years, I think, when he finally sort of popped into the chat one day and we started talking and whatnot. And he's like, oh, I do production work. I'm like, good, man. I could use somebody sort of thing, right? So I brought him on as a producer, and, I throw a few bucks his way every now and again, and he helps sort of keep the show flowing, I guess you could say. And he helps me, in the interview now. It started out where he was always behind the scenes, and I thought, no, you know what? I kind of want you in the show.
That's nice.
And so the two of us, we sit and we throw questions at our guests when we think of them, or ask for clarity on something that they might have brought up or whatnot. And it's been great ever since. So But
Was
the community part is important, and that's why I do the after party so that they can meet all the other crazy atheists that are out there.
was the after party something that you started doing right away, or was that something that you kind
From
of
day
thought of?
one.
Really?
From day one. Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, my first episode on
Mhm.
the channel was Frustrated Atheist, as a friend of mine, Russ.
Okay.
And we didn't have the break between the two shows, which I actually brought on right away afterwards. I thought, okay, this is because the show went on for like 6 hours,
Oh
right?
my
Back
gosh.
in the day when I loved
Yeah.
doing hanging out with a bunch of
Yeah.
people. But I work at like 5 in the morning, so it
Mhm.
became problematic. So I had to sort of knock the show down to a couple hours to an hour and a half kind of thing. So for the after party
Right.
part, so the interview part goes for about an hour. Most of
Mhm.
the time we go a little bit over, and then we have a bit of a break, and then we start up the after party, and those generally run about an hour and a half, sometimes a little longer.
Yeah.
Saturdays is more likely to go longer than a Thursday because I still have to get up for work on Friday, right? So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
No. They're so much fun. I remember 'cause, your show was the first show that I ever did, telling my
Woohoo!
story.
Popped
It
your chair.
was
Well, no, never
yeah.
mind.
Right. That's the respectful conversation. Just joking.
Right.
Just joking.
Inside head voice. Inside.
I'm teasing. Um, and I was so excited and also so nervous. I didn't know, like, I was nervous because I had never done anything on YouTube or online talking about this. And I remember, like, I ordered myself a mic, I ordered myself like a camera. I was just like, I need to be so prepared. And I was like, what do I wear? I have to pick out this perfect outfit. Like, I just wanted to just do such a good job. I had written it out and I was just like, okay, I have to cover all the things. And anyways, you and Mikey were so great. And it was amazing. And then the after party was a lot of fun. And I was nervous, but everyone made me feel so welcome. And
That's good. That's good.
yeah, and I had the best time. And some of the people that were there, I'm still friends with, like
That's awesome.
Dr. Ben and
Yeah.
yeah, so and Heathen Queen. And like I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like there was so many amazing people that were at that after party. And um that I got to stay connected with. And so that's the whole point is like why you do that.
Community
And
building. Yeah.
yeah,
See, there's
yeah,
evidence right there.
yeah, for
See? So,
sure. And I wasn't expecting to eventually do more shows or anything. It was just really nice to connect with people just right off the hop. And so yeah, it was great. So and whenever people first come out of religion, like it's you do lose typically you do lose relationships, friendships, community.
happens more often than not.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I've seen so many people in chats or just even on these call-in shows saying like, how do I find how do I find people to connect with? And one of the things that I do recommend is watching these shows that are live and don't just hide and not say anything. I really think being active in the chat is another way to build connections because there's people that I only know from the YouTube chats. And
Yeah.
like, there's certain people that just come to mind, like Pragmatic Crystal, you know?
Yeah,
And you
right.
you
Yeah.
start to see them in other live shows, and it's just like, I would consider her a friend. And so you
Sure.
you can start to build just connections even that way. There's so many great shows that are happening pretty much every day, multiple times a day if you if
Mhm.
you, just, find out where they are or you just start follow or subscribing to different channels and you'll see that there's connections being made and just start saying hi and people are so
Yeah, don't
welcoming.
be shy.
So,
Mm.
yeah. So, even like there's been times where I was just feeling kind of like just lonely, like, I wanna hang out today with my friends, so I would just hop on YouTube and bounce from channel to channel "Oh, this is a
Sure.
live show?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
over. So and so has a live show now. I'm gonna go
I
watch
do
there,"
that a
and I
lot
would
too.
just yeah, and it was like, I didn't feel like I was alone all day. I was felt like I was hanging out with all my friends, so, um, that's another way
Virtually.
of building yeah, virtually, yeah, and if that's all you have for a while or, like, at least
Ever.
there's that, or ever.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
there's that. I'm so thankful for the online community, that we have people have made. So,
Yeah. Something that I've found very useful over the past probably 5 or 6 years now, and Randolph and I use it when we throw little atheist get-togethers here in the Lower Mainland,
mhm,
which we've done a few times, and we've had some pretty good turnout. We've had some cool people show up out of the blue,
right?
um, right? That it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you were in town, kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
Few too many to mention, but uh, Meetup.
Okay,
Just get the Meetup app and you look up atheist community type stuff, and you'll be surprised how many things pop up there, or skeptics or humanists or
right,
whatever.
okay.
And you can find out if there's anything going on near you that weekend or maybe the next weekend, and get
Yeah,
yourself involved with that too. It's
yeah.
it's pretty easy to do. I use it quite often actually.
Oh, that's
Also kind of a
cool.
Star Trek geek, so I go to some of the Star Trek stuff too, but
Yeah,
or
I mean,
Star
I guess you
Wars or whatever.
yeah, you could, like, get connected in other ways with just, like, someone in the chat. Bree is saying, like, also getting to know people in different hobbies and activities and
Right.
getting
Like my
connected in
Lego
that way
addiction.
too. Yeah, you can find community in new ways, but, um, right now, I really like connecting with people who are like-minded and just who have gone
Sure.
through this experience. That's kinda where I'm at. Yeah, it's once you kinda know where you've come from, you
Yeah.
really have that bond and you're just like, "Oh, you totally know where I'm coming from." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, like if you remember, you were there when I threw together a
Mhm.
little get-together dinner in Kelowna,
Yes,
right? So
yes,
we
that
had
was
Godless Mom come out and
amazing.
Janice and you
Mhm,
guys,
mhm,
and
Janice
we all got together.
Selby,
Yeah.
and Nate, who used to
Yeah.
host, Secular Sexuality,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So there
nonprofits. She
was
would be on
and
nonprofits
that
too
yeah,
every once in a while.
that's right.
I
So,
used to
yeah,
do
that
that too.
was amazing. Okay. Yeah, that was I think my one and only little, um, meetup with people from the community, and it was fantastic. I was
It was
so
fun.
excited. Yeah, so you are great at, like I said, organizing community and yeah,
Doesn't take
it's great.
much. It's just
Yeah.
and you hope for the better turnout. I think the only person that couldn't make it because of his kid was Dick Dawson was the only one that couldn't
Okay.
show up for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also it might not be an affordable thing for some people, but there's also um, there's conventions
Oh
throughout
yeah.
the year, and that's something that I would really like to go to one this year. But I know that you have been to a few of those,
Yes,
and
I have. Yeah.
yeah, what are those like?
I was actually on the panel for the
Hmm.
question panel and whatnot for the last Faithless Forum that was down in
Okay,
Austin, Texas, right? So, and I was
nice.
at the Faithless Forum before that as well. I also did the Better conference in
Yeah,
um, like my
that
brain
was
just
in was
shut
it
down.
Indiana?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. That one looked
Yeah.
super
The
fun.
Oz man put that together with his little group that
Mhm,
the I don't even know what they call themselves now, Atheist Roundtable or some shit.
okay,
So, so they put that together, and Mikey and I flew to Chicago and
right.
stayed over at Mikey's place, and then Dr. Ben showed up and
Oh, I didn't know that.
crashed over
That's
there. Yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah. And the three of us drove down to the Better conference and had a good time. It was really fun. Of course,
Wow.
Mikey and I ended up playing a lot of Pokemon Go while we were there. So running around the building catching Pokemon is kind of fun.
Okay, that's fun. That's so cool. Yeah, there's a couple in Canada because you and I are both Canadian. Actually, we were saying this is like a BC takeover tonight because you and I are both
Yeah, we're both in BC. That's
We're
right.
both
Beautiful
in
British
BC.
Columbia, Canada.
Yeah. But there's a couple in Canada, and that's what I'm hoping to get to, a conference in
Tons of Mice
Canada.
wants to know. The Baja.
That's
Tons of
the
Mice wants to know
one.
how much they charged me to leave Fort Wayne. They paid
Oh,
me to leave. They paid me to leave.
they paid you to leave.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my goodness.
here's $100 US, which is like $1 million Canadian. Now get out of here.
Yes, it really is. We get so ripped off. That's why I want to go to one in Canada, because
Yeah.
once I'm there, it's not like I have to pay extra for all my food and like the conversion. There's no conversion. It's just my money is the same. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw your post about that, and of
Yes.
course I chimed in too. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I like that because I did the one just last May in Calgary, and Aaron and
Okay.
I went to the dinosaur museum there and did a little filming and a little. Well,
Oh,
this guy is a
fun.
such and such, and this guy is such and such, and they were alive at this
Yeah.
point. And, so we did a little educational kind of video, but it was still fun to do, right? And goofing around and stuff. And
Right.
because Aaron's hilarious, and every time we're at a convention together, we always get together and just fucking hang out and raise hell. Oh, I keep swearing, and I don't know if I'm allowed
It's
to,
okay. Well, you just
because
said
I'm
raise
allowed to on my
hell.
show. So
Right. Okay. Well, we have a call,
sweet.
which I'm super excited about. So, we have Sven, um, from Washington. Um,
All right.
they or any all pronouns, spiritual, and their question is: should atheists be more welcoming to those between theism and atheism? So I'm going to bring Sven on. Um, Sven, can you hear us okay?
Hello, I can. Good
Oh,
evening.
perfect. Hi.
Hello, Sven.
It's nice to
Hi,
talk to you.
how's it
Thank you for
going?
calling. And could you just maybe elaborate a little more on what your question is?
Yeah, I honestly didn't 100% prepare for one. I have
Oh,
discussed this with you
you just
before.
wanted
Sounds
to
like
call
me.
and say hi?
Yeah, I was hoping we could, obviously, we could continue the conversation on my metaphysical beliefs if Neil would like, or if y'all want to focus on deconstruction. I left Methodist when I was 22, so.
Okay.
Oh, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you claimed that you became
Any preference you
spiritual. There might be a bit of a
Yeah,
delay, I think.
so I am under the impression that abstract concepts have to exist in some way of realness for us to even have a grasp on founding our beliefs or grounding our knowledge.
Abstract concepts.
And
You think they need to
yes,
be
and they
real?
obviously don't exist in physical. What's that?
Right. Oh, you just sort of answered what I was going to say. You said that obviously they don't exist in the physical realm, we'll say. But
Correct.
abstract
Like there's no
concepts,
such thing as a perfect circle in our reality.
right?
But the
Right.
concept of circle we can completely understand because math is the most useful language that we have ever created as a human species.
See, we didn't actually create math. Math was always there. We created a system of using it.
Right. Well, I apologize. In terms of the created, I definitely think it was discovered because I think math and
That's
numbers
right.
and shapes are real and they exist.
Of course.
So my apologies on using the word create as the dichotomy
I kind
of
of figured,
create or discovered. I would definitely say we discovered it.
for sure.
And since mathematics has been such a useful language through science, through almost everything that we enjoy in the modern world, like
Mhm.
I just find it convincing that there must be a grounding to these concepts. Like everyone who does math or biology or chemistry is pretending like these platonic ideals are real when they're in the lab. But then as soon as they step away from the lab and give their worldviews, they're like, these are just instruments that we use, kind of like an instrumentalist take. And so I just find it a little strange how they can be instruments but not real.
Right.
Well, I'm what I do for a living. I'm somewhat of a chemist myself. I work for an environmental company, and I test things like waste oil or contaminated soils or antifreeze and stuff like that. So I work in a lab all the time, and we do have specific methodologies for each thing. Like everything that we test has its own method. So, and that just means a way to test. So, those ways to test
You
are something
create.
that are real. Those methods are something that's real, something I can touch and interact with and get whatever answers I'm looking for, like through whether it's through spectrometry or just using a basic ion pH reader or something like that. So we can sort of, but the concepts of everything, of course, is still conceptual, but we still need to use that in order to find what we're looking for to make sure that whatever it is I'm testing is within the realm of acceptability for the ecosystem or whatever. It's specifically what I do is what I mean.
Right, but would you say that when you are doing that, you are creating a set of this universe, this physical universe, that actually has to be accepted as an axiom, just like a rook moving diagonal or vertical? You are creating the set of the game of chess, and so it's very real that a rook goes horizontal or vertical, but only because you're accepting that we're in the game of chess. And so you are working with chemistry, you are accepting that these are just natural byproducts of a natural world that has no meaning. Would that be correct? Like there's no intention behind chemistry, or why two hydrogens with an oxygen?
I think chemicals that want to bond will bond. Okay, that's just the way chemistry works. Of course, we've come up with stuff by force bonding things in the past, but generally those things don't last very long. So there's no like agency to any of this. All right, this is just what chemistries and what chemistry is and what chemicals do. This is what, but there's nothing driving it. It's just that's what they do. Like oxygen and carbon are a couple of the most bondable elements out there. So you're going to find that in a lot of things, including you and me. They're one of the top 4 in our bodies, right? So they will bond with whatever is bondable, and they build all sorts of new elements and stuff like that through doing that. I guess maybe I'm not kind of understanding what you mean.
Yeah, I'm trying to bounce back to our previous conversation to try to bridge the gap.
Was I here for the previous conversation?
Are you talking about?
You and I talked, and Stacey and I have also talked.
I do remember talking to you. Yeah,
bridging the gap between atheist and theist, and having more productive conversations. But Neil, we spoke on Truth Wanted about how metaphysics isn't something that we can know, so it's not really right for atheists to have a claim on the naturalist worldview and saying that's all there is. Because with metaphysics, we have to do armchair philosophy. The reason that natural philosophy has become science is because we develop a better language to understand that. Like math became the first one, and that was because we came up with the best language to understand what a circle is, even though we will never have a circle in reality. We only have a conceptual idea of what a circle is, and now we also have the mathematical language to have hopefully that makes sense.
Well, I don't know. Hold on a second here. Is this a circle?
Diagram? There you go. Yeah.
Is that a circle?
That's what I was always taught a circle is.
I know what you're saying, and I'm just playing around with you.
But most physicists would agree that, these things don't exist in reality. We only have reflections of them or poor examples of them.
Well, we have the idea of what a circle should look like, and we can produce them. Obviously, I just showed a coaster, which is a circular shape. Of course, it's not going to be perfect circle, although good band. But anyway, in the realm of science and bridging it with metaphysical stuff or with philosophy, most of science starts out sort of in the realm of we have to think about how we're going to do this. So in a sense, that's philosophy. Like, how are we going to do this? Can we do this in an ethical manner? Can we do this in a repeatable manner? Like, so when we test things, we have other people test them and make sure that what we're doing is right, and then we find our conclusions, and we have a bunch more people do the same thing, and then we come to a consensus, and that's how we decide, okay, well, this is X and this is X, and so now we know, and we have a way to figure that out every time we come across a problem that involves whatever X is.
Certainly, and I'm a huge fan of math. Sacred geometry is like very important to Platonists. So I
Sacred
will not
geometry?
belittle the impressiveness of math and science that has given us all the technology we use.
Certainly.
But again, they became useful because we were able to break them down into precise methods, like you were talking about. But the reason
Sure.
that philosophy is separate these days from natural philosophy or science is because all we can do there is use intuition and deduction and logic.
Mhm.
And so there's plenty of, the philosophy of mind has plenty of arguments through reasoning and deduction that can lead to a dualist where there's a separation between the mind and the body. The problem is just accepting that a mind works with
Go ahead,
the
Stacey.
natural world. I appreciate neuroscience and all that it's done, but it's still, maybe when it gets better, I will have a different approach. But that's how I feel right now.
Oh, they're all over lots of cool stuff in recent years. So I expect to see a lot of interesting things come out of neuroscience. Like the fact that an article I just read that they're going to be doing again because they had such great success with it. They actually they grew little microbrains in a lab, and they hooked it up to a computer, and they were able to, it was conscious, but it wasn't sentient. You know what I mean? Like, so they were able to hook it up, and they could load what it was thinking into a computer back and forth. And they also programmed it with an AI that gave it ideas or whatever, and this thing started producing all kinds of bizarre things, right? And now they're saying that this is sort of a technology that could ultimately lead into uploading our consciousness into a hard drive. Imagine that. That's like almost a form of immortality.
That's
So that's around
interesting.
the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. I think there's naturalist
It'd be neat.
arguments that wouldn't be you, that'd be a clone of you. But as a dualist, I think that would be putting your spirit into another vessel.
Spirit. Well, your
Yeah.
consciousness, anyways. I sort of, I'm not on board with spirits and souls and
Spirits
stuff
or
like that, so.
souls? No.
So I would have to know what they're made of, and that way I could test for them to see if they're actually something that's there.
Well, no one says, well, most people do not say that they're a naturalist thing. They are a metaphysical concept in a dualist framework. So
Sure, metaphysical is fine.
I think misleading to ask for repeatable empirical science for a concept that people are rationalizing their way to.
Sure, but I mean, if we want to know for sure, it's not about belief so much for me. I'd rather know something than believe something. We all start out with certain beliefs, like before all the sciencey stuff started going, they had beliefs that this could be this, so let's test it out and see if it is. See, I'm all about the final product, which is the knowledge that we gain from doing all this stuff. Because hey, if we do have souls, I want to know. You know what I mean?
Certainly. Again, though, once you're only working in the empirical sciences, then you're not going to accept any of the metaphysical claims given that aren't under the worldview of naturalism. And so if you're not even open to understanding how people explain their soul, like I hear some atheists be like, I don't even know what a soul is. But I think they have a general idea of what a soul is. And so, like, if you're not even willing to entertain the concept, like, oh, that's just a wild concept, then yeah, we don't have to talk about it. But I think I find it hard to believe people don't know what others mean by soul or what a soul is.
Well, I think we know what the concept and idea of a soul, like what you think a soul is, but there's no evidence for a soul. You can't test for a soul. You like, I think that's what it boils down to is
I'm admitting, though, that definitionally it is not possible. So you're not really
like it's
like
not
adding
possible
to.
to
That's
to
not my. I'm what's it called? I'm admitting that. I'm giving you that.
yeah. But
Well,
go ahead, Dio.
many people, when I talk to people about what a soul is, they go, "Well, it's basically it's the energy that makes up who you are." Like, and then it can become a ghost or whatever. Like, I'm not that I'm a ghost person, but I used to be. But anyway, if it is some kind of an energy, then it is measurable, metaphysical or not. It'll be measurable because we can measure energy. So.
Again, people aren't using energy that way. I don't know. I mean, there are tarot readers and other psychics who say, there's an energy blast when they access the spirit world, but a metaphysical soul tends to be completely separate from the body, and that's an accepted term for
Well,
it.
you remind me of a little story from Carl Sagan in his book Demon Haunted World, which is a great book, where he talks about that he has his pet dragon in a garage, and then people start, oh really, wow, so they start bombarding him with questions. Well, can you see this thing? He says, well, no, it's invisible, it's intangible, it's invisible, you can't really see it or hear it or anything, but it's there because I know it's there. He goes, well, have you tested, like, did you put like powder on the floor, maybe catch its footprints? He goes, well, it doesn't touch the floor, it hovers. Does it breathe fire? He goes, yeah, it breathes fire. He goes, well, then you should be able to see the fire and test the fire. You feel the heat. He goes, well, it's a flameless, heatless fire, so you can't really test for that either. But I know it's there. So you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
I don't at all, because I've just admitted that when I say like an energy, that I don't mean anything verifiable. So I don't know how I would analogize it with fire and footsteps.
Well, no, it's the whole analogy is that he
say that. Go ahead.
No. The whole claim was that he had this dragon in his garage, and people just started asking him questions.
Yeah, I just don't think it says much about the philosophy of mind, but maybe it has a point that'll get to someone in the audience. Love it.
Maybe.
Do you love it?
Oh, I love conversations like this. Yeah, I just wasn't prepared at all. I usually have to come prepared and think about what I'm going to say. I have a lot of social anxiety issues and things, but
it's okay. No,
yeah, I love that.
I'm glad that you called.
I'm sorry, got to deal with that kind of thing, man.
Yeah. No, it's good. And as far as like what your question that I saw on the screen was, should atheists be more welcoming to those between theism and atheism? Did you want to elaborate a bit more on that? Because
I have an answer for that
I
already.
got cut off while I was
go
part of the
for
call
it.
screener. That's
Sorry, that was my mistake. Sorry.
We sidetracked.
I didn't know. This is my first time
That's all right.
taking calls, so.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I had a hot topic today that I talked to someone that I think anti-theism is a bad term to take because it has so much historical baggage of cultural erasure. So I don't know if either of you identify as an anti-theist, but do you think that's bad for the gap between atheist and atheist?
Being described as an anti-theist?
Yeah, I think it's kind of there's got to be a better name to use, because I personally am against religions because I think most of them do more harm than they do good. And I say most of them because not all of them fall into that category in my opinion. But I'm also an atheist. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
I've heard of that, but
yeah, I love atheism. It means you think that any idea of God is untangible. That's why I'm a classical Platonist and not a Neoplatonist, because I don't have concern with the attributes of the good, or as the Christians call it, the one God. I think he's completely separate from humanity and the mind. So the only thing we can really speak about is a human soul, not what any other metaphysical being is experiencing or has properties of.
Right. Well, atheism, in the definition I know of, and the reason I call myself that, is because there has never really been an unambiguous definition of what God is, so I don't bother with talking about the existence of something like that. Oh,
instead of it being impossible to understand, you just hold that all definitions given are meaningless or something.
Well, not that they're meaningless, because I'm sure these
Too vague.
yeah, like give me a definition of what you mean when you say God, like, because there's so many. There have been so many throughout human mythologies, and all of them have different characteristics. So when you're talking about God, what do you mean when you say God? That kind of thing. And rarely do we get an answer that is unambiguous. So that's why I kind of say, well, then really talking about it doesn't really get us anywhere. So, see, I personally don't think that gods exist. Right? I don't see any reason to think that there are gods out there of any kind, because like you said, I follow under the naturalist, flag. So, and I've seen naturalistic reasons for why things are the way they are. So, that's just my angle on the whole gods thing, personally. So,
Do you think you've had answers for why things are the way they are, or you have answers for how things come to be how they are, like cause and effect? Because I find why things are to be a metaphysical question. Go ahead.
Well, okay, sure, maybe, but I'm talking about why things like, well, why does a river run downstream? Like, we know why that happens now, because gravity and other things, right? So why does our car run the way it runs? Well, we know what goes into building a vehicle and what we have to put into it to make it go. So all these things, we know those whys. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not meaning why is purple. Like, I don't mean that. You know what I mean? So there are whys that we can't answer.
How there.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
But I think why. I think how. Just mentally, how sounds like the more appropriate question you word, because you say why, I think it leads to like a regress. Like, if you say, why does my car go? Oh, I put gas in it. Well, why does gas make your car go? Oh, well, because it has properties of
right
combustion.
So you're answering those whys.
And if you're like, well, why is there combustion? You're eventually going to run into that's what science, that's what the natural world does. And so you're not answering really why, you're answering how.
Well, we are answering why. Have you ever had a child that's like around the age of 4 or 5 and they go, well, why this, why that, and why this, why that? And you're able to answer. And you're able to throw some answers their way?
Yeah, I was that.
How works as well, too. I'll agree with you there.
There was never a why answered.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why I'm a Platonist.
That sucks.
Because I'm still looking for why, the grand why. I love the how.
What if we never find out the grand why?
Sciences.
So what if we never find out the grand why? Does that mean that we should stop doing the best that we can while we're here?
Sometimes it's okay with not knowing. I'm okay not having everything figured out.
Oh, yeah. I think atheists also, by the way, on your
that we'll never reach perfection in this world. Like, only the world of the forms is perfection. So we should constantly search for why and get closer to it. But I don't think we will ever know the grand why. I think the naturalists are going to take an absurdist claim and say there is no grand why. But
that might be true too. We don't know. And I think you're right. We may never know the grand why. But I do know that we can figure out lots of things, and we learn new stuff all the time, right? As our technology improves, we improve our knowledge base. So, as to your question about atheists being more, I guess, welcoming of people of different faiths or different non-faiths, if you like, or different ways of thinking about things. Yeah, I think we are. I think for the most part we are, until something comes up that can kind of make us go, well, hold on a second here. Like if you try to influence people's lives through some form of religion, making laws based on those belief systems, and that infringes upon somebody's rights, then I have problems with that kind of thing, right? So that's when we kind of get a little cantankerous, if you will, and raise our voices up there saying, hey, whoa, that kind of thing. But I think for the most part, but don't take YouTube as an example of how people behave, because I think everyone's a keyboard warrior on that thing. But I think we are. I've met many people of different faiths, and I've had great conversations with them, and there was no hostility. We kind of left with a certain understanding of each other a little bit better, and understand that I don't hate people like that, and I never will. I hate the ones that end up becoming the complete dictator douche canoes, if you will, that want to, hurt people. That I have a problem with. That's probably the humanist in me speaking, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel too that if people are genuinely asking because they're questioning everything, I don't think there's anyone who is gonna be like, why are you here? Why are you asking these questions and just be downright rude to them, because most of us have been in that position. So I don't think the atheists are unwelcoming. I think we would like for you to ask those questions and continue exploring. So I don't think that atheists are unwelcoming to people who are kind of on that deconstruction journey. So yeah, I
Good.
haven't seen it. Yeah. So does that answer
I
your
try to help
questions?
people along.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
we agreed last time that we all are trying to be better for each other when that's what's in
Exactly.
this network. And
Yeah.
that's how we talk. So I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry I didn't come more prepared. I have a very eclectic belief, so
That's okay.
That's all right,
Yeah.
Sven.
nothing can be a lot. But I appreciate you guys.
Oh,
Well,
we
thank you for
appreciate you too, man.
calling. Yeah. All right. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Sven. Talk to you soon. I should do more of these, I think.
Do more what?
Of these shows.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're good for those kinds of calls because I'm not like philosophical by any stretch, and I was like, "Hey, good, you can answer all these questions because that's not
Neither
my
am I,
forte."
really.
But you're really good, so that's like
Philosophy
we're a good
does
team.
come in useful for, like, when I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier, like scientists
Yeah.
had to use it to some degree.
Mhm.
Right, guys, let's sit down and let's talk about this. Let's come up with ideas. And to me, that's sort of like scientific philosophy, where you got to
Yeah.
figure out, okay, we've got this and we've got this, and we got to figure out all about this, and we need to figure out ways to do that. So they philosophize about that, and away you go.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't mind having these conversations. Like, I'll talk to my husband a lot about these types of things, but if you want my advice, I don't really know what to give. So I'm glad you were here to bounce back and forth because I'm still learning a lot about these types of ideas. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. So we don't have any calls at the moment, but I just wanted to say before we take the next call, hopefully, if there's people in the chat who want to call, like definitely there is a banner that should be at the bottom, but what were you going to say?
Monkey at the typewriter says, Neil, I'm not philosophical. I just have a beard.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is kind of true, because you look at a lot of philosophers and most of them are bearded, man.
There you go.
You know why that is? There's a reason why that is.
Oh, tell
Because
me.
when they sit back and they go,
Oh yes, they have something to.
You got to stroke the beards while they.
Maybe that's
so they
why
look
I'm
all
not philosophical. I don't have a beard.
You can buy those stick-on ones if you want.
There
Stacey.
you
They
go.
can sit back and
Perfect.
go like that.
Yes. But I just wanted to remind everyone to please like and subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when we have other shows, because here on Skeptic Haven, we have a lot of other shows. Thursday nights, we have the Sunny Spot with Sunny Shell. Tuesday
Sunny's
nights.
great.
Yes, Tuesday nights. I'm actually back doing Secular Soapbox with my really good friend David McDonald. So we'll be here tomorrow night.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back doing that. Saturdays we have the Global Atheists and Women Atheists Unload with lots of great guests and talks. And then of course on Sunday nights we have Let's Talk. So make sure you hit
So
that
let's
bell.
talk.
So let's talk.
How about those
before
Canucks? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about them. I haven't actually stayed in the loop with the Canucks in the last 14 years. Not until they lost that Stanley Cup game in
against Boston.
2010.
Right.
So I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah. Well,
I was
they're
pretty
top of the league
devastated.
now.
Are they?
Yeah.
No? They are?
Yeah.
I didn't
First
know
in the
that.
Pacific Division. and they're in the top
No.
3 in the league. Yeah.
Oh, well, I gotta pull up my jersey then, because
Dust it. Let's throw on the old Canucks jersey. There we go.
I should. It's been a long time since I threw that thing on.
You
but I
bandwagoner,
do
you.
have one. I got really into it after we had the Vancouver Olympics. I
Yeah.
got so into sports. I was, all right, let's do the sport thing.
Can you believe people were blaming the loony that was buried at center ice under the ice? That's why Canada won.
What?
Like, no.
No.
Yeah,
No,
that's
we're
what
just
people are
good.
saying.
We're just really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canada
That
produces
was a
some
good time.
pretty decent players.
Mhm.
Anyways, enough with the
Yeah,
sports ball
okay.
stuff, because a lot of people are like, fucking sports ball, what the hell?
Sorry, we have a lot that we could talk about being from the
Being
same
from BC.
BC
Yeah.
and at one time the same city. So, yeah. So I want more people to call. What were you going to say?
I'm going to talk a little bit about my deconversion, because
Yes,
I think
please.
that my story isn't a usual
Okay.
type of story, and many of my friends and followers that hang out on my channel, and you guys should sub, man, because we do some really good stuff on that channel. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
it helps a lot of people. Also have a Patreon if you like.
Yes.
And also looking for
Almost
guests, so if you want to come and share your
Yeah.
story, just let me know. 604atheist@gmail.com.
I
That's
actually
when
have
you
someone
know
to
me.
send to you. So
Oh,
we'll talk
perfect.
about that later. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so I was actually born
Mhm.
to a couple that lived up in Summerland. And I was born in the backseat of a 57. Well, I was conceived in the backseat of a 57 Chevy, pardon me.
Okay.
And I was born to the Catholic couple. And of course, this is in the 60s, it'd be like
Mhm.
1965 when I was conceived. So I was born in 1966. And if you're unwed and Catholic in those days, it was very, very taboo.
Mm.
So they thought the better idea, because there's probably no way they would have been able to raise me at that time. So they put me up for adoption. And I was adopted by a Jewish couple.
Wow.
So one of the things I always say is, well, if Christianity is the right religion, and whether you want to fucking face it or not, Catholicism is a branch of Christianity,
Mhm.
and that's the right religion to be in. Well, then how come our all-knowing God gave me to Jewish people?
Right. Yeah.
So, anyways, raised in the Jewish faith, and of course, by the age of 8, I was already questioning everything, because it just didn't make any sense. It sounded like all the other mythologies I'd heard in school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And at Hebrew school, I spent a lot of time in the hallway for asking so many questions. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah. But I did the bar mitzvah and all that, and I actually lived in Israel for a few years, and
Oh, that's
worked on a
right.
kibbutz and went to school, and I'll be honest with you, most of the people in Israel are secular. They're not really.
Are
God
they
believers.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
most Israelis, anyways. But
Hmm.
so I really I don't know if I can't honestly say that I ever really believed. I wanted
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
would even pray. I'd be like, oh, my friend down the street, his mom is dying. Please don't let his mom die. That kind of
Aw.
thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and of course, never ever got the answers you were looking for. Well, because God
Mhm.
works in mysterious ways. Oh, you shoved that one up
Right.
your butt. But anywho, so yeah. And then I got into all the pagan Wicca stuff. I dated a girl who was a Wiccan for a while, because I heard that there was something called sex magic, and I was like, I'm down for that. so I got into all that for a while, and
Did
eventually
it
I just
work?
realized,
No.
no.
No. I'm just
Well,
joking.
the sex was good, but other than
Yeah.
that, it was like, it's like, no, we didn't raise a cone of power or anything like that, right? So, although it sure got heated, but
Yeah.
I think you just come to realize, I tried some spells, they never really worked. Or if
Mm.
I think the closest one that works is when I did a money spell, where you get a ceramic bowl and you fill it up with water, and you put an actual silver dollar, which I happen to have. I put it in
Right.
there, and you catch the moon in it and put it over there, and you chant some bullshit, and then of course money would come to you. And
Oh.
forgetting that 2 days before, I'd put an ad in the paper to sell my old VCR. Yes, folks, I'm old enough to have had a VCR. And I sold it for like $60, I think. So, money came to me. Oh, the spell must have worked.
Ooh.
No, you put an ad in the paper, you moron. That's why the
Yes.
VCR sold, right? So,
Yep.
but anywho, so I just dropped it all. Somewhere in my 30s, I was like, Yeah, I don't believe any of this shit.
This
And
doesn't
then
make
I
any
didn't
sense.
call
Yeah.
myself an atheist until I was in my 40s. So
Oh,
there you go.
wow.
Yeah. I don't really see the need to, but then I
Yeah.
started noticing things. I said, well,
Mhm.
people, well, what's your beliefs? Oh, I'm an atheist. I don't have any. So,
Yeah.
right.
Huh. Did you
Yeah.
have any, like, preconceived ideas about, like, what an atheist was? Were you afraid to adopt that label,
I
or
was never afraid of it.
not
I
afraid, but,
knew
like,
what they were. I knew what they
okay.
were.
Yeah.
It was in high school, I think was probably the first time I'd ever heard the terminology. And I said, oh, what the hell's that? And they go, it's the people that don't believe there are any gods. And I said, oh,
Mhm.
okay. That would be me. Right. So
Okay. Okay.
I don't believe in them. I think it's all hokey
Uh-huh.
and unnecessary. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
tons of
I
mice.
I I wish I could go back and really remember what I thought an atheist was truly, other than, like,
You
not
can't
believing in
remember?
God. Well, like, I do, but, like, I wish that I really sat and thought about it, and because I remember
Satan
thinking, like, they were
worshippers. The lot of
yeah,
them.
basically, yeah, like, basically,
It's
like, I knew
no.
they didn't believe in God, but I also had this, like, "Oh, they're kinda scary," like, I don't know if I want to associate with them, um, because I do remember when I told sorry, my husband's in the chat, but I do remember when I told my husband, I'm like, "I think I'm an atheist," and even though he was definitely not, like, a full-on believer in God, he tried, he was kinda like I think
Hi,
even he
Brian.
thought yeah, hi, Bri. Even he was kinda like, "Well, aren't they kinda Satan worshipers?" Like, that was sort of even he had that idea even as a
Well,
non-believer.
I
So,
have to
I was
confess
like,
something.
"No." Okay, what?
I am a member of the Satanic Temple,
Okay, good for you.
but
I love it, but then
they are an atheist movement.
they are. They really are. Um, I have no problems with the Satanic Temple, like, I actually watched a video
They do
on
good, man.
they do. And it was early in my deconversion that I watched a video by Thomas Westbrook, Holy Kool-Aid, and he was going through like basically what the Satanic Temple believes. And I was like, "Ooh, should I watch this?" And I did. And I was like, "Oh, they're actually not that bad." Like, I
Right,
think I
right.
agree with a lot of what the Satanic Temple believes and preaches or teaches, and it kind of freaked me out. I was like, "Oh,
Wes wants to call in and ask me about the Satanic Temple now.
oh
You
my
can just hit
goodness."
Google. They'll tell you all about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. So, oh my goodness, but yeah, I was like, "No, no, no, I'm not gonna go worship Satan." But I
Hold
I'm like,
on.
"I don't believe in him
Hold on.
anymore," but oh, oh! Baphomet, yeah.
There you go.
Love it.
Does that
Love
work?
it. Yes, yes. That is so
Sorry,
good.
folks, I'm getting a little horny. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That
There
is
you
so, so good. Um, Amazing. Um, Anyways, yeah, so that's why I wish I could go back and really, like, write down what I thought, an atheist was. So, yeah, okay, so
Devil
we have
worshipping,
a oh,
baby
sorry.
eating heathens.
You sound like Seth Andrews, that's what you remind me of right now. I love it.
That's good
We
people.
I love Seth. He's so great. We have another call, which is wonderful. We have Camden, him calling
Oh,
from Kansas. He is an atheist, deconverting, and he wants to talk about empathy and understanding where your opponent is coming from. So,
yeah, good topic.
um, Camden, welcome to Let's Talk. Can you hear us okay?
Hi, yes, I can. I'm excited to be here, like very
Oh,
excited to talk
oh,
today.
we're super
Oh,
excited to have
well,
you
welcome.
as
Welcome,
well.
Kendall.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Uh, so, if
All
you
hail the
guys would
flying
like,
spaghetti
I can
monster.
talk
Yeah,
about a couple. Oh, oh,
Sorry.
come again?
I have a flying spaghetti monster. All hail the flying spaghetti monster.
perfect.
Oh,
All right.
all right. So, uh,
if you want, I can just go ahead and start off with
Yeah.
a couple of examples. We'll figure out how relevant they are, or if there's anything to really be gained from here.
Go for it.
So to start things off, I guess I was always kind of wavering in my faith. It's been about 7 months since I really took the idea of just making my own decisions and realizing I don't have to force myself to go to church for every Sunday when it's like when the things I am learning or hearing about in my particular church are ideals that just don't stack up when I'm in a real world setting.
Right. I hear that a lot, by the way.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like so then we'll just go with this particular example. When I was in a car ride, I was taking one of my younger brothers to a concert, and I recently watched a video from Mindshift Skeptic about
Brandon.
these 7 problems with Brandon. He's a
great.
nice fellow. I
Mhm.
would concur.
Yeah.
But I recently watched his 7 problems with heaven and why an eternity in paradise might not be something ideal for us mere mortal folks. And so I remember going in this car ride and taking my brother to a concert, and we kind of engaged in the topic of first heaven, and then we kind of shifted to how the Old Testament stacks up and why there's not really that much archaeological evidence for the Israelites and the things that they have done, whether it's a whole bunch of Egyptians
like the
drowning in
Exodus
the
and stuff.
Red Sea. Yeah. And when we get to the finality of the argumentation, I guess we were just kind of in conflict about, how faith and knowing that there is a God that exists works. Because at the end of the conversation, he told me that, sure, I might not have all the evidence that there is a God who exists, but I just know. I just believe. And whenever we get to that point, I feel like it becomes a personal or a sore spot to, try to engage. How do you know? How does this happen? It feels kind of circular.
Epistemology.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so, I guess part of me wonders if this is something like I'm not trying to deconvert somebody or debate with them, but just trying to gain a better understanding of of the family that I've grown up in and all the values that they've held up and how they how it can seem like from an outside perspective, yeah, my family is wonderful, it's fantastic, it's great, but at the end of the day, I'm in a small town, so it's a small space where I don't really have much room to wiggle around.
Or allies.
Yeah.
Not many allies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask how?
I think
So you. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead and ask. I was about to continue rambling.
No. Okay. You said that you made the decision on your own to kind of stop going to church. Has anyone noticed and like questioned you, or
Are you being chastised?
has the response been okay? And also, how have you felt since making that decision on your own? Have you felt kind of empowered? Have you felt good, guilty?
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I'll get out of the basicallys and go into the technicallys, if you will, here, because those are really good questions. So I say that I don't attend church regularly. However, I am still involved in the small town church community that I am. One of the things is that I'm a worship leader. I play the piano well, and I got a good singing voice, and so I'm still
right on.
So whenever I need to be there, and they want my talents or the things that I've practiced and worked on, I might as well, like, part of it is that I don't really have much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the other side of the coin is that I don't really know how to get out completely without, you know, I
Breaking
guess
a
it's a
few eggs.
scary thought process because, yeah, my family is involved in this, and
Right.
they are heavily involved in the church. They will know when I'm not there. Attendance records are taken about every week, and
Attendance
Okay.
so
records?
Wow.
Wow. What
yeah,
denomination are you?
we um I believe it's a non-denominational church, but
Okay.
it's got its Protestant roots. Full
Right.
Bible believing church.
Right. 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 Right.
You got
Okay.
their doctrine claims they want to take the word as is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow. So right now, are you just attending on days that you have to be up for worship?
yeah, right now I'm attending
Mm.
on days that I have to be up to worship, and because it's really hard to just to make up a disingenuous excuse if I can't
Mhm.
lead worship or if I can't do something and say, "Oh, I'm just not feeling up to it," or
Yeah.
"I don't want to do this." You know, that's
Yeah.
not fair to the other people to
Mhm.
lie to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get that. It took for me when I finally decided I really don't want to go to synagogue anymore, or to shul as we call it,
Mhm.
which was the Friday nights for the Jewish sect. Um,
Hmm.
it took a sit down with my folks to say, "Listen, mom, dad, and they've known that I've been sort of a non-believer for a long time. Um,
Mm.
they kind of poke fun at me every once in a while, and I just give it right back. And we laugh, we laugh, we cry, we hug. It's all fun, but they've
Yeah,
never like hated me and whatnot. But it may take like if you were to come out to your family, how do you think that would go over? Because that I think is something you have to tackle first before you
yeah,
stop going, kind of thing.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Coming out to my family would definitely be a process. I have a couple of younger brothers who know, at the very
Okay.
least, that I've been struggling in my faith.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, my Most of my family, it's not like a real soft spot because it just logically follows, but the fact that it does makes it difficult. Um, we've had a Christmas where all of our family has come together on my dad's side, and it's a really fun and beautiful thing. We all get to open gifts, have food and stuff. Um,
Sure.
but we did a little family Eve service. I put together music, and then my grandma and grandpa got to speak about stuff, and their sentiment is very level with the entirety of the family. That they, the thing that makes me feel like it would be a tense situation is that um, they dropped these three things. One, their main goal for everyone in the family is to love the Lord their God with their heart, soul, mind, and strength.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
thing two is that it would be great to have a great spouse to marry, which
Mm.
I like the idea of it, but
Don't we all want that?
my
I mean,
life
if we're into
isn't going
that,
to be destined to it. Yeah. Ask that question again.
I said, wouldn't we all want that if that's what we're into?
Yeah.
I tried marriage twice, buddy.
We're
It didn't
what
work
we
for
would
me.
all want. So, and the third thing was that they would be really, really sad if they were to see someone in their
Right.
traditional line. We've been quite traditional Christians, very strong in the faith. It would be very, very sad and heartbreaking to see one of us
Mm.
fall away from Jesus.
Mm.
And as someone who, you know, is kind of a
Mm.
people pleaser or who is kind of sheltered and doesn't really feel like they have many places to go, being surrounded by the idea that, you know, I've been hurting so many people's feelings for this is, and that's just not a reality I want to live in, but it's also not their choice.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
for me to make. So yeah, that's
So
the
if
long way around to answer it.
that's pretty much what I figured you might say. I don't know if you heard the part where at the beginning of the show, I've interviewed well over 500 people,
Mhm.
probably in the 500, close to 550 people now, about how they broke free from their previous belief systems. And I'm going to say at least 70 to 75% of them had issues with the breaking it to family because,
Yeah.
like you said, family is going to be concerned when someone they love and want the best for is suddenly not in God's favor. So it means you may not go to heaven with them. And that really does bother people
Yeah.
that believe in that sort of thing. So it's understandable. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably a big hurdle to get over. But I do know that it can happen. I would say of the 70 to 75% of people, ultimately their relationships eventually smoothed over with their family. And I would say that's probably more than 60 to 70% of those people that happen to. So, but there's a lot of real fundamentalist nutters out there that you're not gonna bend, right? They're gonna be like, no,
Mhm.
we're casting you out. You are devil
Yeah.
spawn now, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
I
it's
hope
yeah.
that things go
And
well for you ultimately.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I do too. And I mean, you're welcome to call back and let us know how things continue going for you. And um, oh, here's a question from Skeptic Haven for you, Camden. Is the church community
oh, sure,
very
yeah.
yeah, is the church community very big problem? I think that's worded a little awkwardly, but
Is your church community a
yeah,
big problem? And
yeah.
do you have any
There we
atheist
go.
community yet?
Thank you.
Because you got a couple right
Is
here.
the church community
Yeah.
a problem? And do I have any atheists?
Yeah, any form of
I,
atheist
Yeah.
friends that have their
Do
own
you have
little community.
anyone that you have in person right now that you are able to connect with that you can talk to or like yeah, do you have any connections right now?
sure. I am from a small town in northwest Kansas, and uh, as someone who is relatively new to the scene,
Mhm.
I haven't had much of an
Oh,
opportunity to
Yeah.
you know look around and ask if there's anybody around that's like me. Um,
Right.
uh, Not like me, but anyone who's
Yeah.
been through that stuff and
going
has a
through what you're
spot
going through.
where they can
Yeah.
say, "Yo, let's talk
I
about it." Yeah,
can I mean, I don't know Kansas, I'm from Canada, but I can almost guarantee that there is definitely somebody else in your town who is going through something exactly like you're going through and wondering, "Am I the only person who is going through this?" Because when I was going through it where I live, I really thought, "Am I the only person who has ever gone through a crisis of losing my faith? And have other people gone through what I'm going through? Because this is scary, this is strange, this is weird, and does anyone else know what it's like to go through this right now?" And that's when I started just looking up people's I didn't even know there it was a thing, deconversion testimonies on YouTube, and I needed to hear them. And I remembered one person that I heard of when I was a Christian, and he was the lead singer of a band, and he came out as no longer a Christian a few years ago, and I was
John?
shocked. Yeah,
John Steingard,
Canadian.
wow.
yeah.
Yes, John Steingard, and I had seen him in concert, and so when he came out as a non-Christian, um, I was just like, "What?" At the time, and so I had remembered that, and so I went on YouTube and I was, like, looking him up, and he had done a sit-down conversation with a really good friend, and he told his whole story, and that was the very first time I ever heard someone share the story of like walking through like their childhood, their beliefs, and I was like, "Wow, we have a lot of things in common." And just how he went through the whole deconversion process and he wasn't going looking for it. And it was so like honest and
Mhm.
genuine. And when he told his whole story, I'm like, this guy sounds just like me. I didn't go looking for this. I didn't wake up one day like, ah, screw this. I'm done. I don't want to be a Christian anymore. And I thought back to when he like announced he was no longer a Christian. I was so judgmental, like
Hmm.
thinking, oh, what a terrible person. So then when I heard his story, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, okay, first of all, I'm sorry, John, for thinking that about you." Now I was just like, I'm so glad he shared it because it really helped me get the courage to I think later that day is when I told my husband I'm not a Christian anymore. It was after watching his story. And one of the things that John said in his talk to his friend was, I came one day, I realized, did did God create man or did man create God? And that just like stuck with me. So I'm kind of rambling here, but what I'm saying is when I
The
heard
second
someone
one, by the
else
way.
say, yeah, exactly. That was just like, whoa, he's
Yeah.
right. But what I'm saying is I really had no idea if anyone else had gone through what I was going through. And when I heard him tell his story like so detailed, it made me feel so much better. So what I'm saying is there's definitely someone in your community who is going through it, what you're going through. And even if you don't meet them, you're not alone. And there's people like online who you can connect with. That's why we're talking about this tonight specifically. Like it sounds like you're
My after
already
parties.
there you go. um his after parties. It sounds like you're already subscribed to some really good content like Brandon from Mindshift. And if you need any more recommendations, definitely just ask us. We can give you a bunch. I don't know what your YouTube subscription looks like right now, but we know a lot of really great people that you can listen
Yeah, we
to.
do.
So
Yeah, I might pop in after the call and on the on the live feed and see what other people might recommend.
definitely.
For sure.
Like I said, I don't know if you were here for the beginning part of the show or when you tuned in, but I was saying stay active in the chats. That's such a good way
Yeah.
to get connected, especially like if you don't know anyone or you don't want to like go on a show and show I don't know, like I'm not sure how comfortable you are, but
Sure.
get active in the chats because you will people will start to see just your screen name and be like, "Hey, Camden," or whatever your screen name will be if and
Free
that's
at
such a
last.
good yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys very much.
You're
It's nice
so
to be able to talk
welcome.
to
Pleasure,
these
Camden.
people.
Yeah, and honestly, you're welcome to call back and let us know how you're doing. We'd love to hear this
Yeah, for sure.
process, and you're welcome anytime because you're not alone.
Also,
So, mhm.
I mentioned my email earlier, Camden. You reach out to me too, because I can get you hooked up with maybe popping into an after party and hanging out with a bunch of us crazy people
Yeah.
and have some fun. Or if you even want to come on and share about what you're going through, that's also a possibility as well. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Skeptic Haven just popped it in the chat again. It's simple. It's 604atheist@gmail.com. So reach out if you'd like, man. And
Yeah.
and we can talk for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun to continue the conversation and see where things have led after a little while.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, sir.
Me too.
Oh, we'll roll the dice and see what happens next. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks,
I've got some
Camden.
dice here if you need them.
Yeah. So good talking to you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Take care.
Okay. All right.
Take
Take
care.
care. Bye.
Wow.
Oh, that was such a
Bye.
nice call. Oh, bye. So
Okay,
good.
he's gone. Let's talk about him. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I really like Camden.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
for sure.
We have another call, which is
Woo-hoo!
woohoo.
All cylinders
Um,
firing tonight.
Yes,
like
I
it.
know. I'm so excited. And he's from Canada.
All right.
I
How's
find it
going, eh?
funny. You know what's so fun? I notice on all the call-in shows, they never or very rarely do they say where in Canada. It's just Canada. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, you're from Canada?
it's
You
a
must live in
giant
Anderson.
country. Yeah, exactly. But when it's the states, they put the state, but for Canada, it's just whole country. So John, him from Canada, he's agnostic, and he wants to talk about if you were once Christian, what made you leave the faith? So,
Okay.
yeah,
Hi, how are you,
so
Stacy? Neil, this is for her atheist.
we are
Oh,
great. How are you, John?
I'm doing
Can you
well. So,
can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
So the
Perfect.
question is, what made you lose the faith?
Well, I
You go
like to
first.
say, well, okay. I have a friend that I just made from Threads, actually. Another great way to connect with people are just these little apps. Um, and and he put it more as coming to the end of faith. I don't feel like I lost my faith. I came to the end of it. Um, it was not an intentional thing. I wasn't going out thinking, okay, I'm done. I want to be convinced
Yeah,
that this
it's
is
never
wrong.
intentional.
No. If anything, I was trying to hold on to it. It was freaking me out. Um, I was having a lot of questions in my head that I allowed myself to, I had pushed them down for so long, and they just kept kind of coming to the surface and coming to the surface. And I eventually was like, okay, I just need to find the answers to these questions. And can I give you the specific questions? Not necessarily. It was just really sometimes just the obvious things. And um, I I started finding out these answers, and they were making more sense than what Christianity ever tried to explain. And it eventually just everything else made I was trying to Christianity just had everything kind of like fit into this box, and you were like, nope, I can't think any other way. Um, and it even when the answers for Christianity didn't make sense, you had to accept it. So, yeah, eventually it just kind of stopped making sense, and logic won. So, I don't know.
So, so what kind of questions did you have?
Oh my goodness.
There's probably a lot of them, and it's
Everything. There's
kind of
so
hard to sort of
many.
round up a bunch of them for anything specific, because I think from many people that I've spoken to, so many questions, literally, it's like a little, the Tasmanian devil from the Looney Tunes show where he's, and that's like how your mind works, because all these questions just start circling your mind, at least
Mhm.
from what I've been told. And slowly but surely, you find some things out, like you go on a big search for answers, and they'll slowly fall away from that mess of questions in your head. So it can be tough to sort of pinpoint a specific question. But if you can think of one, then you can let them know.
Okay, well, was it the origin of the Earth that turned you off?
Well, that was
Or
that was
We know how
kind
the
of
earth started, so
that was one of them. Like, I was a young earth creationist believer. Like, I was told that's how the earth began, and one day I really I watched a video actually on the Ark encounter in Kentucky, and I watched it from like a skeptic's perspective, kind of debunking it, and I was like, "Oh my god, am I actually supposed to believe like in a 6-day creation that all these animals fit on the ark?" Like the way that it was presented, it actually made me think if I wasn't raised a Christian, I don't think I would take this
believe
seriously.
it.
It
Yeah.
sounds ridiculous. So that was one of the things. And I came out and asked my husband, "Do you believe in evolution or creation?" Knowing he believed in evolution. And I wanted his honest answer.
Evolution doesn't
And
require belief.
no, exactly. Exactly. But um I just needed him to just
I take
be
it you,
straight up honest with me.
I take it you went. So I take it you went to the Ark encounter run by Ken Ham.
I
Oh
didn't
God,
go
yeah.
there.
Oh,
No, God, I
please,
would never spend
hysterical.
my money on that. Um, I saw it on YouTube.
The Bill Nye one?
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. It was very interesting. And
Yeah,
what I found
that
interesting
definitely was.
had a lot of good points. Bill had me a lot of good points, but Ken Ham just ignored them. It's like
Yes,
all-
he
all
did. He tends to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was one of them. And then once I kind of looked at that critically, it led me to more things. And the second I found out that the the Noah's Ark myth was found in other mythologies, or what
Which it is,
the flood myth predated the Bible. That's when I thought that was literally when I was out, because I was told that the Bible wasn't like like the Bible shouldn't have anything that would be a lie in it. And as soon as I thought or found out there was like something that wasn't true, then I couldn't trust it. I couldn't trust the so-called God, and I was just like, hey, this is all fake.
I see where it's coming from. Well, I see where it's coming from, and I'm glad that you feel better. Thank you for talking to me tonight. Good night. Have a
Oh,
good
okay.
evening.
Thanks,
Yeah.
John.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye.
Hope that helped a little.
Yeah. I hope so too.
And I saw warnings in the chat. Oh, this guy's the worst. He's the worst faith
Really?
color. It's like I didn't hear that at all.
Well,
So,
I think he was agnostic, so
is he? Okay.
yeah. I don't know. John. I've never seen John before, but
That's okay.
yeah, it's
If
fine.
you
He
if
was just had a
he may
couple
have just
questions.
started feeling a little uncomfortable with the conversation, right?
Maybe.
He may be a little less agnostic than he thinks, and he may still be
Maybe.
clinging on a little bit, which
Mhm.
happens, and that's totally fine. You will eventually find your way out of it if you continue to question and you continue
Yeah.
to look up the answers that are actually something that you can verify. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah,
So so I just wanted
so far some good
to
calls.
Yeah, definitely. So, just wanted to remind our viewers that Skeptic
Christmas
Haven.
is coming. Oh no.
Oh, that too. Actually, Happy New Year.
It's my birthday.
When's your birthday?
Oh, it's not till October. I'm totally kidding.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't want to miss it. Oh, that's right. It is. Isn't it? Wait, I think I know your birthday. Hold on.
Uh-oh. At least one of us
Let's see
does.
if I get it right. It's October 21st.
Very
Am I
close.
right?
20th.
Oh, I was so close.
You were like one day off.
I know.
It's okay. My own biological mom forgot that I was born on 20th. She goes, I thought you were the 21st. No, yeah, it makes sense. You're on the 20th. It was just before midnight. I'm like, there
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
darn good. Yeah.
Better than a lot of people.
That is. So yes, Skeptic Haven, just a little announcement. We are always looking for volunteers to help behind the scenes. So if you'd like to be a part of our team, you can send us an email at info@skeptichaven.com. And if you'd like to help our channel, consider becoming a Patreon by going to patreon.com/skeptichaven. So behind the scenes stuff would be like call screeners, and that's all I know for now. But it would be
Well, call screeners, and if you want to play
mhm.
pranks on the hosts, you can do that.
That too. We are always looking for
It's always
prankers.
about fun.
Prankers? Yeah. Definitely. So
And worthwhile
yeah.
becoming a patron of the show for sure.
Definitely.
Because
Yeah.
you're putting it to some good content. I mean, I watch lots of the Skeptic Haven stuff myself,
Oh
and
yeah.
now I get to be a part of it. So
Yay! I know. And I
if
always
you want more,
love
bug
yeah.
West, and they'll have me on more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or you say, nah, get rid of that fucking Neil guy. He's a clown.
No. As soon as he asked me, he's like, "Oh, are you free? Can you do a call in with Neil?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, anything that I can do a show with Neil, I'm in."
Hell yeah. It's
I
the
know.
BC conglomerate takeover.
Yes. It's a little nostalgic for me because, like I said, it's the very
Right.
first show I ever did was with you. So I feel like, aw, yeah. So
You're going to try and make me
yeah.
cry, right?
Aw. Get a tissue.
just in case.
Okay. So yeah, what do you think, viewers? Should we have Neil back? Yes, I think so.
What should we? He's even asking. Should we have this guy back? He's kind of a dick, but
No.
he's
Oh,
all
and I
right.
also just wanted to say
All right
thank
for
you
an
to
ex, too.
Jason. It's 1 month today until my birthday, so
Right.
mark your calendars. Thank you, Jason. Yay. So yeah, this is
Straw hats. Woo! And of course the Akatsuki, the Leaf Village. Oh, and I also have. There you go. I have the Heart Pirates too. There you go.
Yay. Exciting.
Yeah, all about the anime. Loving the anime. And my gigantic Lego collection.
Mm-hmm.
Still mostly in boxes there right behind me.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it.
Well, I built a little. I got when you buy stuff, they give you freebies. They give you little poly bag freebies, or they give you something really cool. When you buy like $200 worth of Lego or more, they'll give you something like this really cool little puzzle thing that you can build. You can run little Lego balls through. It's Lego balls. Anyway, and they give you these little poly bag ones. So I just built the little X-wing one the other day that comes in a little poly bag, which is awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh no, he just fell. Oh damn it. Oh, and it's not real Lego, but there you go. There's the straw hat right there.
Perfect.
There's Luffy. Luffy's one of my favorite characters, and my other big favorite character is Trafalgar Law. So there he is right there.
That's cute. Do you have any Disney Lego?
I do. Yeah. I've got the Winnie the Pooh one up there.
Cute.
It's buried. So I haven't put it together yet. And I've got they always release the minifigures. They'll release sets of minifigures, and I've got a bunch of the Disney ones. I didn't get a Stitch one, and I got to get a Stitch one. And I got all the Marvel ones and DC, like I got Batman and hell, but the non-Lego, the Japanese version, I've got a bunch of the anime characters, like all the Naruto figures and Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer and stuff like that. So
nice.
and,
I wanted
Attack on Titan.
I wanted the Disney Castle, but then once it's done, where would I put it?
Anywhere. Just find a shelf and put it on there and put it on display.
Okay.
Or you can actually buy display cases so they don't get dusty, because that's one of the biggest pains in the ass is dusting your Lego.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So,
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I go through lots of these.
Oh, you have everything just like within arm's reach.
Yeah, that's one of my shticks on the show is everything's within his arm reach. They'll bring something up. I go, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I got one of those right over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Sometimes people give me a headache, so I always keep these handy.
Oh my goodness. That's perfect. Love it. Well, I think we had some pretty good calls tonight. Oh,
I think we did. Jason said, I can't afford all the Legos out of there. I know. I couldn't really either, but I made it happen. I got all the UCS sets like the Land Speeder and the Light and X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon and all those Razor Crest, and they're all these super expensive, like $800 and $900 sets, right? So
that's awesome.
So worth it. Neil's room is a lazy Susan. Hey, doorknob head.
Yes. Well, we don't have any more calls for tonight, so I know, but I am thinking that this was a very good show. I really enjoyed.
I had fun.
The calls.
I want to do more.
I know. I want to do more too. So this was perfect.
I think we should make a BC night where the two of us do this, right?
I think we need to do this again. Definitely.
Like once a month or something, so we can let the other guys have some fun in here.
Yeah.
Too, like that SR guy.
Great. Oh.
Or that skeptic and scoundrel guy, Eric.
Oh my gosh, Eric. Yes. This was awesome. But before we wrap up, we just wanted to recognize our patrons. And once again, remind you that you can become a patron on Patreon. And we really appreciate their support. So, we want to thank Eric, Rion, Deneen Murphy, Dan D, Michael Wiseman, Kathy Cotton, Cindy Plaza, Sunny Shell, Aaron Coalson, Phil Calderone, Amanda McLeod, and Logan Fisher. So thank you to everyone who supports
Thanks, everybody.
this channel. And you know what? Even if you can't support financially, the liking, the subscribing, sharing, comment, just
All helps.
all those things all help no matter what. It helps get the content out to more people on YouTube and just sharing it and getting it in front of people. So thank you
I think
so
Twitch
much.
wanted to call, I think.
Oh,
But I think it might be a little too late for Twitch.
well, if
I
you
ain't got
call-
nothing to do, so if you want to call in, then
if
call
you
in.
call right now, we can take a call. I just need to know if you're going to
It's
actually
almost
call.
time to have my baby for dinner. So yeah.
Right, because you are an atheist and you're a
That's
member of the
right.
Satanic Temple. So
That's right.
2 for 1.
Tonight it's a baby Q.
Perfect. Well, I don't know if he is going to call. So if not, you can always call back next Sunday because we'll be
True.
here, or
Well,
someone will be
will we?
here. Well, someone will be here. So
Can we do 2 Sundays in a row? Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that? You guys like that if we did that?
Yeah, we should put a poll in the chat.
Us BC people are awesome, so you might want to say yes to that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to cry now.
I know.
Oh, you guys are wonderful. They love me. They really. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. This was a lot of fun. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see any calls coming in. So I think we'll talk to Twitch next Sunday. And oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. There's a caller in the queue. So maybe we'll
I
just
feel like
give
I'm
it.
twitching.
I know. I don't want to end the show too quickly. So, yes. Oh, hold on. I want to say, will there be syrup? Yes, there will be syrup.
Of course, we're Canadians.
Yes, absolutely. I put maple syrup on everything. I put it in my coffee. So.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah. Okay, I keep clicking the wrong things. Yeah.
That's what she told me once too. Oh, wait. Sorry. Never mind.
Too funny.
We won't get into that part of my life.
No.
We just won't do that. No.
Yeah.
Inappropriate, Neil.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Dorna had said British Columbia was so pretty when I was there, but that was 30 years ago. Oh, you need to come back.
Well, it's
Definitely
still pretty.
need to come back. It's still super pretty. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it here.
I'll
okay.
take maple syrup, hold the coffee.
Yeah. My mom
like
does
my
carry
coffee.
maple syrup in her purse. She is a true she does. For when
Is it in a maple leaf shaped bottle though? Like all the tourists?
No,
like to buy?
not the tourist. No, just a little mini. It's still in a mini bottle. For when we go to the coffee shops, she's just like, no, no sweetener. I'll put it in. What?
See that
What?
there? Don't joke,
Which
Neil. You
one?
can't finish a whole baby in one sitting.
Oh
Challenge
my
accepted.
gosh. Too funny.
They said the
Okay.
same thing about that giant sub you get at Safeway. Well, I ate it.
Okay, we have Twitch on the line. So
All right.
Here we go. Hello, Twitch from Oklahoma.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's going. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying your show.
Perfect.
Oh, that's good. Awesome. That's good to hear. Means we're doing something right.
Yeah, I went to a Christian school up till like 5th grade. So I switched to private school, and I joined a youth group and a whole lot of church type stuff, and turned atheist.
Okay.
What do you think it was that drove you to do that?
Mostly because when I was in a church group or something, they always pushed the whole story of Noah's Ark and Jonah and the whale, and well, I kind of got a little annoyed, I guess, because it kept saying it's true. It's like, well, I mean, I can tell you about the stories and why they're written the way they're written. So I mean, I think like Jonah and the whale, Jonah actually got threw off a boat and got swallowed up by a big fish or whale. Well, if a person gets swallowed by a whale or a fish, they're going to die from stomach acid or drowning or something like that, right?
Suffocation will do it quicker than both of them.
Yeah. Well,
I got, intrigued by it, and I got to studying in it, and I found out where the story actually, came from.
Oh, okay.
It's a sailor's story from the Mediterranean Sea, where the fishermen would go out in the Mediterranean at night in the wintertime, where the star constellation that got the nickname Belly of the Whale.
Okay.
So when they're out in the middle of the Mediterranean, in the middle of winter at night, they see the constellation. Okay, those sailors can actually say they've been inside the belly of the whale, which all that breaks down to is they went fishing in the middle of the night in the winter. And that's pretty
Right.
much
So
where
that's where that
the
expression came
Jonah
from.
and the Whale story came about.
Okay.
Interesting. Now, the Jonah story dates pretty far back, so
Yeah.
I guess that whole scenario you were just referring to had been going on for quite some time. Probably a tradition of
Yeah.
theirs, I imagine.
Yeah, it's just whoever wrote that story wrote
Borrowed
it
from it.
in such a way to I guess to make it sound like someone actually got swallowed or something like that. Now it's probably a story about a fisherman that was in the Mediterranean Sea in the middle of winter at night, fell overboard, and he was basically just lost at sea until finally he just managed to wash up on shore.
Okay.
Whether he was alive or not, I mean, that would be.
Yeah, well, we there's no
I
way we
guess
would be
you
able to
could
know
kind of
that.
say it'd be a miracle that a person actually survived that long in that frigid water,
Yeah.
which people have survived other things where they should have died but didn't.
Well, I've been in the Mediterranean Sea. Trust me, it's a lot warmer than a lot of other oceans I've been in.
Yeah, but in
And
the
I live
middle
in
of
the
winter,
Pacific Ocean.
Right.
Well, even in winter. Well, yeah, you're right. It does drop to some degree in the wintertime.
and that's like being in the Sahara Desert, even in the winter, just being in the Sahara at night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Doesn't
kind
have
of
to be
hard
the
to
Sahara.
survive because you're liable to freeze to death in a desert. We got the Mojave Desert over in New Mexico or Arizona, or is it Nevada?
Oh, you're
It's all
muted,
desert
Neil.
over there.
Oh,
But-
I didn't unmute.
I
That's the
saw
problem.
your mouth. Yeah, it's okay.
I'm talking at very high pitch.
Yeah. Being in the
Only
desert
dogs can
at
hear.
night is cold.
Yeah, it is.
They are. They are.
Yeah.
And
So.
one of the things when I lived in Israel, I was in the desert there too, and it does get very cold at night. And another thing you have to worry about is you should always check your shoes for scorpions before you put your shoes back on.
Yeah. I have.
And
yeah.
for sure one time I lifted up and one of the little buggers fell out.
Good thing
I
you
do
did
have
that.
kind of a question.
Okay.
Sure.
My actual in-laws, I kind of married into a religious family.
Okay.
Well, my brother-in-law, he goes out to tell me that Greek gods are fallen angels.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of weird stuff.
Zeus, Aphrodite, and Poseidon, they're all angels that were kicked out of heaven.
Where did he
What
come
about the
up
Norse
with that?
gods? What about the Asian gods
I
and
guess-
weird ass deities?
I guess he's like all the other gods that, out there. He all calls them that those are fallen angels, and there's only one true God, which is God.
Of course.
Well-
Yeah, that's an easy way for them to sort of reason themselves into the belief of one true God.
Yeah.
Reason.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do I talk to him to
To break
I don't
that,
know.
I doubt you'll be able to.
I just don't. I don't know how to explain to him and stuff. He even thinks that the moon landing is a hoax.
Oh my
and
gosh. Yeah,
the
you're
Twin
not
Towers was an inside job.
okay. Does he believe the earth
So-
is also flat? And probably.
Well, he
Oh, boy.
doesn't think the Earth is flat.
Oh, okay.
He-
We'll
he-
give it
Oh, that's
some
one
time.
good point, I guess.
Like-
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm even thinking that he might even think that the Loch Ness Monster is an actual dinosaur in the loch.
Yeah. I mean,
So I'm not exactly what all conspiracy believes is true, but it's just kind of hard to explain to him because
mhm.
he thinks that just the fire from airplanes and jet fuel brought down the Twin Towers. Well, I try to explain to him, if you know how the Twin Towers were constructed, you would understand that even if a trash can caught fire and got out of control, the entire building would fall.
Oh, it could,
Yeah.
possibly, depending on where
Yeah.
that
I mean,
happened.
yeah.
There are stress points where that could make it happen.
Because-
I
It's
mean,
not made out of I-beams. It's made basically out of rebar. And, you put rebar in a campfire and let it heat up a little bit, and then you bend the thickest rebar with your bare hands.
I have
heat
someone
softens metal.
I have someone in my family who believes a lot of these same things, and I don't know if you're going to be able to change their mind or convince them otherwise. You might just be wasting your time. You might be really frustrated afterwards. I mean, unless they want to see it, it's sometimes just not worth it. They're so far down those rabbit holes that there's unless they want to see the truth, it's just going to end up making you more frustrated. Truthfully,
I
think it's easier to convince a flat earther that Earth isn't flat than trying to,
I don't know. They're kind
I don't
of
know about that.
out to lunch.
long time churchgoer into there is no gods,
That might be a tougher task. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But recently, a lot of flat
Then
Earth shit
I've
has
been
popped up on my timeline, and it's.
I've been
and
arguing
I've
with
been
flat
there.
earthers for a while, and it's just, they're hard-headed too, but
Oh,
I wouldn't waste your time
unbelievable.
arguing with them.
Yeah, I stopped. I'm like, whatever,
Honestly.
man. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
That's what I said to the last guy.
I mostly just laugh at what they say.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all you can do.
As long,
Is-
yeah. I used to go over to my grandma's house. The second I sat down on her couch, she was like, check out this YouTube video. Check out this YouTube video. And I'd be like, oh my God. I'd walk out of there like my head would be spinning. I'd be like,
YouTube University.
what did I just watch? Like, yeah. And it did mess with my brain because I was at that time I was a Christian and I did trust her as a Christian. So it really did like put a lot of confusion in my head. But thankfully, like my husband is very smart and I'd come home and be like, this is what mama showed me. And he's like, don't listen to that. That's nonsense. And I did, okay, thank you. So yeah, but they can, yeah. They'll believe what they wanna
usually every time a flat earther tries to debunk the globe, they just, prove it in another way.
believe. Mhm.
Oh, they demonstrate their ridiculousness every time they try to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at some
Yeah.
point, you just got to sit back and go, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Mhm.
It's like, you just didn't learn some basic shit in school, and it led you to this ridiculous belief. Like,
Oh my
it's- okay,
goodness.
well,
Yeah. Yeah.
have a good one.
Yeah.
So,
Well-
see ya. I have no patience for that.
Did we help with anything or was that
Yeah.
yeah? Good.
Did we make you laugh? Did we make
Yeah.
you cry?
Oh gosh,
Did we
yeah.
make
You watch Matt Dillahunty?
Of course.
I know Matt Dillahunty personally, and I've seen him for years. and
I've
years
done
and
a
years
show
and
with
years.
him. Yes.
Yeah, I watch him too, and just whenever I see him talking to a theist, and I wish
It's a
I could
different
just
character.
jump through the screen and yell at Matt Dillahunty to kind of ease it down because you're about to have an
No.
aneurysm.
No. That's great. I love
That's
Matt.
just Matt's style, man.
Well,
He's been that way
he
forever.
gets a little upset.
I mean, he's been
There's a
doing it for
reason.
20 years, and
Exactly.
he's been saying the same
Yeah.
thing for 20 years. But you know what?
That can wear on you.
It can, but the fact that he's still
Yeah.
doing this for 20 years means he really is dedicated to the cause. And
Yeah.
if he didn't care,
Oh,
he
yeah.
wouldn't be doing this. And he,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect, even if he loses. I would be frustrated too after 20 years. But the line puts up different clips, and they have some really good conversations with people who are genuinely questioning, and they genuinely are searching. I have watched some really good calls that they have gotten through to people. So he's not there just to yell all the time. He really does want to have people deconvert if that's what they want to do.
I
So
had fun with him on
yeah.
one of his episodes that he asked me to come and host with him. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. So
He hasn't had me back yet.
well, he should.
It's entirely up to him. If he doesn't want me on the show, that's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
It's lots of people he can have co-hosts. So I'm just some schlub from Vancouver. So.
Yeah.
Some schlub. Hey, we both been on the hang up. That's cool. Yeah, I was so nervous for that one. Yeah, so. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Twitch. If there's anything else
it's
we
good
can.
to chat with you.
Yeah, anything else? But otherwise,
Oh, that's not a problem.
we'll be back next week. Someone will.
Go sub to my channel.
I kind of.
Such a channel whore.
Oh yeah, definitely. I kind of like to find like a call-in show about biology and stuff because it's pretty much what I study.
Oh, awesome! You should watch some more Forrest Falcai.
Yeah, Forrest is
Oh
great.
yeah, I know him pretty well too. But yeah, some of the stuff he talks about kind of makes me queasy.
Really?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gutsit Gibbon or
talking about bacteria and stuff. It's like bacteria and parasites.
Yeah. That stuff fascinates him too, and it does me too. I'll admit it, but he's someone that I need to get on my show, but I don't think he wants to come on because he has never reached out to me. So, but also Gutsit Gibbon is a good one, and Jackson Wheat is another. I've got him and Roland's book here, all about
awesome.
Yes, the rocks were there, kind of thing. The rocks were there was the name of the book, which is great. It talks about evolution and biology and stuff. Those are two other great channels you can check out.
I'm ichthyology and herpetology.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I did call in Matt once talking about the snake problem down in the Everglades.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people let them go, and
we got pythons, and I don't know exactly which species it is, but there are some snakes, lizards, and including geckos that doesn't need a mate to reproduce.
Yeah, there are some species that don't require. Frogs are another species that don't necessarily require a mate to reproduce. There are some species that
one of the
asexual or whatever.
One of the snakes is green anaconda.
Beautiful snake too.
So
beautiful snake.
Beautiful, but deadly.
Yeah, if you're sleeping. But if you see it coming, you can get away from it.
Or a dog gets around them, or goat. But however, pig population, pythons would be good, but
but
when it comes to cats and dogs.
Monkey at Typewriter had said that Aron-Ra has a great herpetology series. So check out his channel for that. Parthogenesis. There we go. That's the word I was trying to remember.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, Thanks so
Twitch,
much.
been a
y'all have
pleasure.
Yep. It's been great.
It's always nice. Always
Maybe-
nice in Canada.
Maybe we'll talk again at a later date.
Okay.
You
Sounds
bet.
wonderful.
I love rubbing
All
it.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
there.
Yeah, I know. It's wonderful. All right. Well, I think that is a show.
Twitch made it. He was the buzzer beater. Right
Yeah, he
there.
was.
Twitch was.
Yeah.
But we got to hang out for a little bit longer.
I
And that makes
know.
me happy, right?
Me too. So happy. Okay, so where can people find you?
Well, if you punch these words into the Google search or the YouTube
The
search,
YouTube
I'll pop
search.
up right away. And if you're into hearing how people found their way free from their previous belief systems, and you know what, I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you, I have also had atheists on where we sort
Cool.
of bend the discussion a little bit, where we talk
Mhm.
about religious influences in our lives and also how we can better our community. Those are topics that come up too. Like when I had Dillahunty on, he
Mm.
finally said, "All right, fine, oh come on, but I'm not telling my deconversion story." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because I've told it like 8 million times." I said, I've heard. I'm like, Matt, look, I've told you 1 million times. Don't exaggerate. But anyway, he came on and we spoke about how to better the community. We spoke about some of the more ridiculous calls
Well,
that he
that's
had
good.
on Nathan's experience. Like, and it was a lot of fun having him on, and he even stuck around for the after party, which made a lot of my after party friends like, "Oh, Matt's
That's
in
so
here with us."
nice.
Ooh, it's like sparkle and stuff. And you know, my first experience with him was kind of funny because
Mhm.
when I first met him, I went right onto Twitter when it was still called Twitter. Elon, you
Yeah.
tool. Anyway, and I went on there and I typed in, life goal achieved, shook Matt Dillahunty's hand. And he posted right underneath it. He goes, "Aim higher." I was like, that's hilarious, right? So I thought that was great.
That's
Anywho, so
awesome.
yeah, myself and my very good friend, my brother from another mother, Mr. Mikey Famine, and I host
Love Mikey.
guests on the show. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
we talk to folks about their deconstructions, their deconversions, and how that
Mhm.
happened. I've even had an ex-white supremacist on the show. I've even had
Wow.
an ex-guru in the world of woo, you know, like the crystal healing
Yep.
and all that
Mhm.
nonsense. I've had an ex-guru who actually lives in Vancouver, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think she still kind of dabbles in a little bit of some oddball things, but she still is a great person, great human being. She's
Yeah.
super nice. And I've even had someone on that was still kind of a pseudo-Catholic, but we
Okay.
talked about how the belief has accepted her being a trans woman. And so we
Wow.
talked about stuff
Okay.
like that. And she also lives here in the Lower Mainland. And I keep
Cool.
forgetting, but we're gonna meet up and go have a coffee and chat a little bit more about that sort of stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, oh hey, the Venus
You'll be
man.
back.
Yeah,
Aw.
apparently I'll be back.
Nice.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Well, Ben said we got to do a show together. He's been bugging me about
Yeah.
that for a long time. So
Yeah. Love Dr.
but
Ben.
yeah, I think you and I should be a fixture in here at some point.
I think so
Wes.
too.
Um,
I had the best time with you.
yeah, so that's it. Pretty much what I do, and
Mhm.
we also do the after parties, which I believe, and I'll see. All right, so there is one belief that I know that it has helped build community. Actually, Ollieman just popped into the chat. You can ask him; it does
Yes.
work.
Mhm. It does. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we have
Perfect.
great time doing that, as you know,
It
because
is.
you've been involved.
I do. Yeah, and I've gone to a few after parties since mine, and I love it. So,
Sure.
mhm.
And anyone's welcome in the
Mhm.
after parties if they want to meet some new folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
See how
And
silly we are.
yeah. And for me, if anyone wants, I also have my own YouTube channel with my mom
You
called the
do?
Stacy's Mom Podcast. Yeah, you've been on. We do shows on no, why did I say Wednesday? Monday nights. So we have a show tomorrow. So yeah, you can subscribe to that, the Stacy's Mom Podcast. And then of course you can find me back here on Tuesdays on Secular Soapbox. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Always fun interacting with them.
it's so fun. I love it. So
There's names that I haven't seen before, and I hope they were like, you know what? This Neil guy's pretty all right. I'm going to go
he
subscribe to the
is.
channel and hang out and fucking, you know.
Subscribe.
And I'm hungry because I had dim sum earlier, and now I'm hungry again.
I love dim sum. It's been so long.
I brought some home with me. I still got a barbecue pork bun.
Oh, well, my dinner's upstairs, so I have to go have dinner now. So, but
Oh,
thank you,
awesome.
everyone, and
You guys
if
rock.
that's the shows, yes, we will see you the next
There we
time
go.
we see you. So, have a good night, everyone. Bye.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.